who attended the first 2 series, you can tell us how the first 2 sessions worked for you and what you got out of this series so far, because it's 10 days ahead and we need to know how to go ahead in order to make sure this content gets right with you and the training soaks in and you actually end up learning these skills and know how to move forward, follow up in academy and build on this content.
Yeah. Also, what part of the trainings are you enjoy or have you enjoyed so far? It'll be good to get some feedbacks from you. Okay, Oscar is saying that it helps to clarify my doubts. We are already working on a few RPAs in our enterprise. Great. Arnold says going great. Okay. Osman, I did exercise for yesterday and was very excited to have passed. Wow. Congratulations, Osman. Jonathan was really nice. Jonathan, some yes, fans there. I really liked yesterday's session. Thank you, SC. Okay, great one. Thank you. All right. So with that feedback, we'd like to kickstart today's session. It's very simple on file and folder automation. To help us go through that today, Emmanuel and Christina and the whole of the team will be backing me as I take on the topic. So we'll be introducing you briefly to the topic, some common actions that you can perform on file and folder automations, and then some common actions as UiPath decided to classify them. And you will get to know soon why some are considered common and some are considered uncommon. Then after file and folder automation, what next? Some questions, and then some easy quizzes with huge prizes coming your way. So be on the watch out for that. Okay, why do you need this course? Why do you need to organize your file? To learn file and folder automations. For me, as a business user or regular user, I believe that you need to keep your data organized in a very good format, in such a manner that whenever you need something, it has to be in the right place. And sorting through your files and folders is always time-consuming endeavor. But if you have StudioX, it's never been easier than that. And that is what we are going to explore in this course. How can we use StudioX to organize our files and our folders in a neat way for everything to be up to date? So StudioX file and folder automation course is actually just an introduction course. It covers the operations relating to files and folders, such as copying files to folders, renaming files, selecting files, or moving files and folders from one destination to another destination. As I said, it helps you to organize your files. Now, the target is not only for personal use, but for you to be able to use it in businesses where you have, say, multiple files in one folder, and you need to separate them into different folders according to a given criteria. The prerequisites of this course is actually being dealt with already. Build your first automation with StudioX. And thankfully, Didi has done a great job on that first day. I was telling myself that if I've had somebody taking me through an introduction like that, I don't know, it would have saved me a lot of stress learning UiPath on my own. Shall we begin today with the file and folder one? The first one we want to do is how to copy or how to move files. With your permission, I will switch over directly onto my studio, specifically StudioX. Now, when you can see here is the interface for StudioX. At the beginning, you should see something like this. But what if you launch Studio and for some reasons you can't see this, you're seeing something different? What you just need to do is to change your profile. Go to settings, change profile. There you find Studio and StudioX. So you click on StudioX and then you'll be fine. Now let's go back. For the purpose of this training, we'll create a blank project. Permit me to click on blank tags. Let's just name it something relevant to our session. So what if we say African series session 3? And the location, currently it is telling me that the location is a document, but I want to change that. I want to move it to, say, desktop. Ladies and gentlemen, you have the choice to select whatever destination you want to do. You want the project to be created at. So after that, I will click on create. If I am moving too fast, kindly alert me so that, or speaking too fast, please let me know. I can reduce my tempo. Oh, okay. Thank you, Christina. Let's give it some time. It's creating a whole workspace for us to work with, files and folders and prerequisites to begin to work with. Let's give it ourselves some time. It will be up and running soon. Whilst the creation is ongoing, I just want to speak more about the file and folder automation. The file and folder automation. It's as simple as those that have studied a little bit of Oracle, they create, read, update, and delete. And these are the things that you can actually do with files and folders. Okay, so here we go. Our project is created for us. Let me drop this down here a little bit. Let me just hide it. Okay, let's see our first agenda, first thing that we want to do, how to copy or move a file. Okay, so the first one is how to create a file. Interesting. For the interface before us, we can see okay, good. Well, are we cool now?
Yes, we are cool now.
Very well. So as expected, on the left pane, we have a set of activities which are StudioX friendly. I don't know if you are making a transition from Studio to StudioX, but in that case, you can just, and you may be looking for some of the old or classic activities. You can just click on the funnel here, unlock those ones. Here we are. The first one we want to do is files. Crumbling it down, copy, create. I would love to create a file first. Here, I drag and drop. So there are actually two ways of doing that. Either you drag and drop, or you click on the plus icon and then you type in whatever you want to do and then you double click on it. Either way, you get whatever that you want to get going. Just going to delete this one. Okay. You can find that in order for you to create a file, you agree with me that you need to get a location for your file where you would like to create your file. And then you also want to give your file a name. So UiPath is saying that, okay, we are giving you this folder here to click on to navigate to wherever you want to create your file onto, and then use the values down here to give the name that you want to give to your file. I love to navigate to where my files should be. So I still come to desktop. We were doing African series. I will go into my folder. This is the folder that we've actually created, the African series. And so I will select that folder and click OK.
I'm sorry, I just want to ask, guys, can you set yourselves on mute during the session? So we can have good quality of recording, and then I will allow everyone to unmute on Q&A. And you can ask anything in the chat during the session, please.
All right, thank you, Christina. Now, we want to name our file. The good news with StudioX is that you have several options of naming your file. You can set it off into the notebook directly, file sheets, then you give the name of your file, or you can decide that, oh, when I'm running the project, the automation should ask me what name I should give to my file. Maybe you are running a long-running project and you already have a file name on clipboard, as in memory. You just allow the solution to pick that up. Or you like to give it, type it in, or open advanced editor to help you do that. In our case, we are just going to keep it in our notebook. So we go to the files, then we go to the file name. Okay. Now, going on, I love to introduce you to best practice. Rename your activities accordingly, just so that when you come back to it later, it'll be cool for you to remember what you were doing. So we're going to rename our activity, which is create a text file. Thank you. Let me just minimize my output session. So with your permission, I think we can run this one and see how it is performing. Let's see, let me go to my folder. Okay, so there we go. We can see the project notebook. And there we have our untitled document. Created. This is not looking so good. Let us come back and then rename our file. And there we have it, our first text file. Hey, it's telling me my connection is unstable. Guys, are you able to see me clearly and hear me well?
It's okay, Dennis.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let's create another file at the same location. This time around, I would like to give it a different name. Say our Excel file .xlsx. At this moment, I can just mute. Okay, let's run it. We are all debugging together. Let's run it and see how it behaves. Now we have this file created already, and we are creating another one just below it. Let's see what UiPath has to tell us. Okay, so it's gone ahead to override the first one and then created the second one, our Excel file. Oh, let me see what extension I got there that is not happy about. Guys, I will check on this later, but that is how you create a file, whether Excel or Word or any other thing. Let's create a third one in the same folder. Our MS Word file .docx. And there we have it. On the fly. Okay, let me close this and move on to the next action. Now we have created a file. How do we copy this file that we have created to another location? To do that, even though we are not there yet, let me just create a folder so that we can move files into it. I would like to group my automations. Okay, I'd like to name this one file creation. Okay. Then I will get another grouping. If you are a classic UiPath Studio user, you realize that this group in StudioX is sequence. In Studio, it is sequence, but in StudioX, it is group. Moving files.
Dennis, we are getting a request for you to repeat group, if you can.
Okay, so during the introduction, Nidhi did mention that the processes are of different types. We have a flow, we have a process, we have a sequence, and state machine. I don't know if you've covered that already, but all of this, there's a way to organize your project in them. And you realize that the group activity that I selected here allows me to organize or fill in other activities. So a group can contain another group. And in that case, it helps me to organize my activities correctly. In Studio, it is called sequence, but in StudioX, it is group. I don't know if that is clear.
I think it's clear. We have a feedback.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to learn now how to move files from one location to another location automatically. The naming conventions are so easy to just follow through. So I'm just going to drag and drop. When you want to move a file, the file will be at location A, and you want to move it to a location B in order to work with or to work on. And so UiPath says that, okay, we are providing you with the two fields to do that. So there's a from field and there's a to field. Now, when you are moving the file, there is a tendency that the file might already exist at the current location. When that happens, would you like to overwrite, or you would like to throw an exception and move on? We'll see how it happens. Let's select the source of our file. We are moving our text file to a destination of file. I hope this is clear. Now, let's watch this. Let me unmute a few of this. Let me unmute all of them. We don't want this sequence to run again because we've actually done, we are done with them and we don't want to run again. So in that case, you right click and you click on disable activity. Or you can use Control D, whichever you find useful or appropriate. This very action in traditional programming settings is called commenting out, as UiPath has just helped us out there. So we've commented this part of the code out. What will happen here is that whenever we run our code, the commented codes will not run. It will skip them, even though they are part of the sequence. Now I can run. Last run successful. Okay. Oh, did we see that? Maybe I should delete it and then run it again so we see what actually happened. Oh, I've actually moved, not copy. Sorry, I've actually moved. So when I deleted it, it didn't find anything there. When I actually moved it, it didn't find anything there. I'd still love to move the same file. No, let me just move another one. Let me move our MS Word file. So as the name implies, move. When you move, it cuts it from the original destination, original place to a new destination. I still want to see what is happening here whilst I run my code, so that I can be sure that yes, whatever I've instructed the bot to do is what it is doing. Last run successful. Here we are. It has moved our file to this place. Now, I'm going to return it. No, I will not return this one. Let me do the demo with the third one we have there. I'm going to move again our Excel file. and I will overwrite. It has moved it here again. And look at this, all the time when you move this, the files here just, they no longer exist. So that is how we move a file. Now, I would love to bring the Excel file back. Our Excel file, I will have to bring it back. Good. And then I will try to move it. And this time around, I will tell it not to overwrite. As in, if it is there already, then don't overwrite it. Let's see what happens. Ooh, we got some feedback. Something went wrong. Activity move failed. Cannot create a file when that file already exists. So guys, this is the difference between moving a file and then to overwrite, and then moving a file not to overwrite. You tell it that it shouldn't overwrite. So when you're running, it'll give you this error feedback. Now look at this. You have the option to retry, skip, or stop. At this moment, I just want to stop because I know what it is. The file already exists, and then I'm still trying to move the file there. So it's not something I want to do. And then detail one. I believe somewhere along the line, we will deal into details with debugging. So we'll show you how to navigate around such a scenario. Okay, now let's deal with how to copy a file. In copying a file, I would like to create a folder inside this our file and name it file 2. No, not filey. File 2. Okay. Permit me to disable this activity as I am almost done with it. Now notice this. We are still within the group, but I've only disabled one activity in this moving files group. So I can do more stuff below here. But at the first instant, I disabled the entire group, so it does not run. Now I'm going to copy a file. Where do we want to copy the file from? I would like to copy a file from MS Word and send that file to African series, file 2. And I do not want to overwrite. So let me run and see how that performs. I run. Last run successful. And then there we have it. Our MS Word file has been copied to this destination. How am I sure that it is copied and not moved? Well, let's look at something. This file still exists here, and then it is still existing at this side as well. So it is not a delete, or actually it's not a move, but it's a copy. I will run this again, and in this case, I will click on overwrite. Let's see what happens. Okay. It has moved it here and it didn't give us any trouble. Our destination file exists, our source file exists. Cool. Okay, don't overwrite. Yeah, Papa, are you gonna give us a message? Oh, giving us a message. Something went wrong. You can find activity by but what it is saying is that the file already exists. The file already exists. I'm just going to stop it since I've seen how it can behave and handle it with debugging. When such scenario happens, what should I do? Maybe a try catch or a global exception handler can help me do that. How to rename a file. How to rename a file. Okay, I will just mute this as well. Sorry, guys. We are learning together, so I will disable this and then we move. Can we bring another group and name this group renaming files? I clear this. Do you have a rename file? Yeah, here we go. It is here. I drag and drop. Of course, when we are renaming a file, the file already exists, so we have to choose where the file is. So let's say we want to rename. Be careful not to rename something like project notebook. Let's get into our file and rename the word. Guys, we have to learn something here. The name of the file that we want to rename is to. So I go to text, which you have just realized that I love using that. So I go to text and then our renamed file. Please note, I didn't include the extension, but then look at it says keep extension. When you keep extension, it inherits the original file's extension. But when you say do not keep extension, it brings the file here without the extension, unless you have explicitly given it an extension yourself. So for now, we'll just keep extension and run it. Let's see how you behave. Yeah. Oh, that was fast. And here we go, our renamed file. I think time is racing against us, so we'll move a bit faster. But then, that's how we rename a file. If you do not want to keep the extension, let's remove the extension and run it again. Ooh, something went wrong. Activity rename failed. The source file does not exist. Stop. Why does the source file does not exist? Well, we renamed it previously when we were, sorry for moving so too fast. We renamed this. So this file, MS Word file, does not exist anymore. We only have our renamed file. That's how come we did not have it. We run it again. Okay, what did you do? Ooh. The file has come without any extension. It has come like a text file, no. So it comes without any extension. Okay, I do not really intend to do that. So I will .docx. I don't know, but I think you should be happy that we ran into a lot of troubles, so that when you are running it on your own too, so that, we've seen this error before, and then we can move on with it. Okay, it has renamed it back to that. So team, that is how you rename a file. File exists. Let's just deal with it. No, don't do that. Show everybody what you're doing. Okay. So we bring in another group. I feel like skipping file exists and rather dealing with how to delete so that we can quickly move on. How to delete a file. Okay. So what file do we want to delete? Who don't I like here? I don't like this guy. It has no name. What is it doing there? Getting rid of it. Running, last run successful. Oh, it's gone. The unnamed document, blah, blah, is gone. So we've deleted that file successfully. You want to be careful when deleting files with UiPath because there is no recycle bin for you to go back and pick it up again. So you want to be careful how you use UiPath to, as in your automations to delete files. Delete files that you are absolutely sure that you want to delete. I think because of time, I will just move on to CSV Actions, comma separated values. Comma separated values. Let me disable this and bring in a new group. Name them CSV Actions. Clear my selection. You have the append, read, or write. But at first, let's try to read one. In fact, let's apply what you've learned so far. Let us create one. Our new CSV file. I'm not convinced. .csv. Yeah, this should work. Then, after creating it, I would like to read it. Ooh, there's nothing for you to read now. So just run this one first. A new CSV file is created. So now I can read it. You realize that when we come here to select, it doesn't populate any other file for us because it is actually looking for a CSV file and nothing else but CSV file, unless you want to do something which it will not allow you to do. Okay. Does the CSV has headers? Yes, no. Something new to introduce here. Apart from the notebook, the copy to clipboard, open advanced data, there's one here called save for later use. This is used to create a variable. And when you read a CSV file, when you read a spreadsheet, an Excel file, the output is a data table. That's why I'm telling you data table from read CSV. Somebody might ask, what is a data table? A data table in, say, UiPath's language is synonymous to a spreadsheet in the spreadsheet language. And a worksheet, actually, it has rows and columns with or without column names. With the only difference is that in data table, each column name must be unique, but over here, but in spreadsheet, it is not really always the case. But in data tables, they must always be unique. For best practice, I just love to precede my data table names with DT. So DT, our CSV data. With this, it gets stored in a variable. You can use it any other place at any other time. You may not know. Okay, let me read it. Let's read it and see how it performs. If you are doing good or not. I love unit testing. Yeah, something went wrong. Why? You cannot find activity or value cannot be null, parameter source. Let's look at what went wrong. I've already created it, so I can, guys, I use Control D to disable an activity after selecting it. One or more errors occurred. Bad request. How can I overcome this? Guys, want to call anyone with ideas how I can overcome this?
Okay.
CSV is looking fine.
Hi, Dennis. Are you using Excel or CSV?
That's one I created. I use a CSV.
So for your CSV, do you have headers?
No, I don't have headers.
Did you set your activity that it should that your file has headers?
There we go. Thank you.
But this is an Excel file, not a CSV.
Yes, that was an Excel file.
Can you check your CSV again before you?
Oh, value cannot be known.
So check your CSV file, open your CSV file, let's see.
Okay.
So you must
So there
have
are no
values here.
headers.
Yeah. So Osman was right. And maybe add some value after the headers.
Yeah, you're right. I'm just saving this one for now. Wow, this is interesting. Let me create one directly and use for this for this demo.
That is because it's CSV. Let me get.
Yeah,
let me
it's
look at
CSV.
it.
So what you should do, you can open the Excel file, put in your header, then save it as a CSV. Or you open a text in a text file, the header
Text
separate with
files.
commas, and then terminate the lines with a
Correct.
semicolon. Yes, you can save as CSV.
Okay, save as CSV. Good. New CSV. Right.
You can close this and then open with Notepad++ and see that's actually CSV.
Yes, please. Okay. Can I select my new CSV? Yeah, it has headers. Let's see. Why?
You have multiple Excel processes running. Can you close some of your Excel?
Go to your task manager and close all the Excel.
Let me just do that. Interestingly, I can't see any.
Okay, let's just run the process again.
This seems to have worked. I'll run it again, just to be sure that I have actually done the right thing. Okay, I will populate my CSV with sample data so that when I'm moving, I'm sure that whatever that I'm moving is accurate. The name is Michael. The age is 20. The location is Accra. Say Daniel. The age is 30. The location is Lagos. Okay. in order to be very sure that whatever that whatever that I have read here is correct, I will just duplicate this. New CSV copy, and then write that into the folder, the new file. New CSV, I can't really tell until I delete the data that was in there. Okay, take care of it. Save it. Close it. So this is empty. This is contains something. I run it. Oops, I didn't complete this. Last run successful. Now let's see what it has populated here, if we are really successful. Yeah, it says we are successful. Okay, thank you. Now, let's just do the last one under CSV, which is append. What append does is that it copies one data table and adds it to another data table. It is useful when you have multiple CSVs and you want to put them together, as in consolidate them. That's append's specialty. So I'm selecting my source file as the new CSV, and the data to be appended will be our data CSV. Don't forget that this the data CSV is what we have saved here. It's in here. Sorry, what we have read from this place. So I'll actually mute this guy. What we're trying not to do is that whatever is in new CSV, add that to new CSV copy. I'd like to do that with new CSV copy just to differentiate between them. Yeah. So at the end of the day, we are expecting double data in this. Okay. Ready to run. Oh, it has finished running. Let's see how it has performed. Ah, there we go. We are successful. Fine. We get to know that we have four rows in this. Let's do something around it quickly and get to see how the headers play a role. Let's say we have no headers. So everything we see in there is our data, and run it again. Okay. Look at this. It considered the first row as a raw data and didn't treat it as a part of a header. So when you are appending data, you might want to be careful on how you treat the headers. Time is fast spent and against us. But let me see if we can quickly deal with folders. Folder activities are not very different from file activities, how to create, rename, and move it. We will spend, say, 3 minutes to explore that. Hopefully you have time on your own after the introduction to move deeper into it. I love to group them again. Generally call them folders. And then come down to folders. One of my favorite activities that have been brought into StudioX is browse folder and then select file. But unfortunately, I will not demonstrate that to you today. Let's create a folder, drag and drop. Let's create a folder in files. Okay. Let's run it and see how it behaves. Let's say we want to create another folder in there. Our folder 2. Just silencing this. Here we have our folder 2. Now, I just want to get rid of, let's say, folder 1. I have to disable this one because if I do not do that, it will keep on creating and giving us errors, which we are hard pressed for time for debugging now. We want to delete our folder 1. Please run. Oh, so our folder 1 is gone. Christina, I don't know, time is quite spent. I don't know if you can have time to go through the rest, which relatively follows the same logic. The only thing that I wanted us to take through was the text and then the zipping of the folders. Zipping of files and folders. If you want to zip a file, why can't I find my file names? Oh, there's a cooler one here to do, rename folder. Why don't I do that one instead? Renamed folder 1. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to pause here and then open the floor for questions. If anybody has any questions for what we've demonstrated so far, we would love to take it and try hard to address it.
Guys, let's take a few questions before the Menti quiz.
You can just indicate that you have question.
Yes, and I will allow you now to unmute. Wait. So now you can unmute to ask questions. Please do. No questions from the audience?
As you're trying to think about the questions or form the questions in your mind, I'd love to show you the way forward or suggest some way forward for us. Is that for you to become better at this, you need to practice and practice and practice again in order for you to become very good at this. Even if you are a core backend classic developer like me, StudioX still presents very interesting and exciting features that you can work with. Find a mentor or a mentee and work in a team. I love the fact that somewhere on the line, the CSV was giving us issues. So then, what if you couldn't find help on your own? You have forum. I don't know if Christina have already introduced you to it. Forum, yes. Documentation, and then your own cycle of friends.
I see we have a question, but guys, you can unmute yourself and Akpeko, you turn on your camera. Unmute yourselves and ask questions to Akpeko. It's no problem. I mean, anyone can ask any question, no matter like what aspect it regards. Vibe Hub is asking like when will we find the PPTs? I only uploaded on event links the recordings now, not the PPTs, but I'm going to try to find a way for you to have the PPTs before the entire series is over. So perhaps I will upload them tomorrow from the free sessions that we had so far. Yes, I will put it the same. You go to your chapter, the event link, and you will find it under the session tagline. Where you find the recording now, I will assign the PPT there as well. So no worries about that. Okay, no other questions?
Hi, this is Sarita. Thank you so much for the wonderful session. I have a question, like I never used StudioX before. I know about a little bit about only Studio. What is the difference between Studio and StudioX?
Okay, thank you for that question. I think this is the best time for you to learn if you've never used StudioX before, but you have a little knowledge about Studio. So the difference is that for Studio, it is designed for hardcore developers, quote on code, while StudioX is made specifically for citizen developers, people who are not, say, developers in their day-to-day lives. The features on StudioX are, I hate to say it, but they are more exciting than Studio for beginner developers. And focus your attention on StudioX. You will find it very fun to use. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, thank you so much.
If I may add to that. Okay, yes, if I may add to that, yeah, another very great difference is that StudioX is majorly used for automating tasks, while Studio is used for processing. So with Studio, you could actually develop from simple to very complex enterprise processes, but StudioX will allow you easily automate your tasks. That's why it's really fitted for attended automation. But like Dennis said, it's always a very good starting point. Going back to Reboot Your Skills program of 2020, I know of a couple of persons who started with StudioX And 3 months later, they migrated to using Studio and started building stuff. So it's a very
Yes.
great place for you to start your automation
Yes.
journey.
If you guys finish this series, after this series, we launch Reboot Your Skills 2022, and you can also enroll to that program. Though that program in content will not be as complex as this series. So I think the real value will be in this series, and then you can go through Reboot Your Skills also to complete or like cement what you have gained from this program. And it will be good. So like, let's say if you go through that in a month for now, you can easily go through RPA Citizen Developer Foundation in Academy and really become like developer in StudioX. It will be much easier for you than to finish the course in Academy, which all courses on UiPath Academy are free. So you can easily do that after finishing this series and perhaps registering for Reboot Your Skills as well. I think we do these two, and then Academy will really get you like in a month and a half there at that level.
One
This-
question
this-
from my
yeah.
end, Akpeko and Christina. So do we have any feasibility tracker at Akpeko? I mean, let's say if I'm exploring some kind of RP opportunities in my team, right? For StudioX as a citizen development program, as well as the Studio tool. So does UiPath provide some feasibility tracker which we can use and start filling in, and we can do assessment, okay, whether the process qualifies for CDP or a studio or not?
Yeah, so as Afe indicated, Studio will be useful for people who are not part of the core center of excellence and core developers. People who are running their day-to-day lives like business people, IT people, people that are not in depth into developing solutions using UiPath yet. But if it comes to, if the solution gets complex or too difficult for the person to handle, the person might want to move it to the Center of Excellence developers to take over. StudioX is ripe for attended automations on personal levels, whilst Studio itself, it's for large-scale processes that can help you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Dennis. And to add to that, just to give a bit more on the role of StudioX in the organization. So, you know, you may have a center of excellence and there are lots of processes in the pipeline that the organization wants to automate. Now, your developer team cannot automate all these processes at once. And so where StudioX comes in to help is that if I am a business user, I'm a citizen developer, and my process is still way down the pecking order on the chart, or in terms of the pipeline of automation, and I know how to use Studio, I can get a Studio license from my organization and quickly take a portion of the business processes I work on day to day and begin to automate these portions of them, because these are tasks. And by the time the COE team comes to my own process, I would have been able to automate bits and pieces of it, and it makes it easier for the business analyst to understand how automation comes to play with my process, and it makes it easier too for this information to flow from the business analyst to the core developers who can quickly work on my process and automate it.
Yeah, thank you, Afe. So what I was asking around that, Afe, is that do we have some kind of a feasibility tracker, or let's say some Excel sheet with some checklist items which should be met before we say, okay, this process is qualified for citizen developer StudioX? So do we have any tracker which UiPath provides, which we can take as a reference and we can use?
Yeah, he means like task mining.
Task mining, that is one. I think another one is Automation Hub.
Yes,
So
perfect.
Automation Hub, you can, yeah, thank you. So allow you can continue with that, please.
Yeah, so I wanted to go with Automation Hub. Automation Hub is a platform provided by UiPath along with the suite that gives you access, to a portal where you can really plan your discovery process, right? So sign up fellow employees on that platform, let everybody submit their automation ideas. And then in that same portal, you can record the processes itself. You can check the feasibility of the process. You can also calculate the ROI of the process if automated, right? So Automation Hub is kind of like that single point of all the knowledge, right? So the processes to be automated, the processes currently being automated, and the processes that have been deployed already. So if in your organization, you're still testing out, you're still in that phase of discovery, starting out an Automation Hub trial would be good for you so that you can get in as much information as you want regarding the potential of RPA within your organization. I hope that helps you with the question you have.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
I was looking now to see if we have Automation Hub in Community Cloud, but it seems like we don't.
No, there's no Automation Hub in Community Cloud.
Okay,
But you
then
can get
try
a
the
trial
free
license.
Yes,
license
Yeah,
on
a trial
UiPath.
license.
And you can go here to uipath.com. I will share you the link now in chat. Product, Automation Hub, Discovery. It's a discovery tool for organizations to map their processes or their ideas for automation. So you can use it for ideas as well, or you can use it for like designing paths. This is
And also a
for
great repository for you to store knowledge about your business processes. Because sometimes you can have employees who leave the organization and they leave with quite detailed knowledge of your business processes, and that's lost forever.
Okay, so I've shared with you the link in chat for Automation Hub tool. I've also shared the full RPA Developer Foundation Academy, which you can use as endpoint after getting through this series. And also the link to the following program, Reboot Your Skills, also following after this series. All this you will find in Citizen Developer chapter, which you have also the link here above. You also have the link for mentoring. So guys, try to, if you're really interested, try to copy paste the links in the chat or the whole chat. So you save the links for your own use. And you get this index of links. I will also send it in an email at the end of the series. You will have the full link index. Jonathan is saying he's presenting what you will do tomorrow. He's saying you'll go over decision activities in UiPath StudioX. Okay, so except from that, I'm sure you are already aware about our site, like UiPath Community. This is the hub of community. So in this site, everything is connected. Academy is here with training. Resources are here, programs for contributors. You can become someone asked about a chapter. You will find chapter leaders program here, and you can join to start a UiPath chapter if you want. You will also find mentorship here if you want to find a mentor on your RPA journey and guide you through assisted learning. And you have the Automation Cloud, which is for community and free, and also try UiPath free. So if you save community.uipath.com and make an account, you will also find all these resources here, like tools and learning, and also our entire suite of upcoming events. And you can search the chapters here. So if you go to bottom of page, you will see our global chapters, our regional chapters. As you can see here in EMEA is where our African chapters are currently. Africa is very well represented now, but we hope it will grow. We have Accra, Lagos, Nairobi, Johannesburg too. You will meet Jackie from Johannesburg too in this series, which is our second MVP from Africa. So guys, there are plenty of resources, and as you can see here, the chapter leaders and the MVPs to support you and me as well on each of these sessions. So I hope this was a nice experience for you. I think we can go ahead with the Menti now, perhaps, Emmanuel.
Okay, thank you, Cristiano. Okay, so it's time for our Menti quiz. Are we ready?
Okay, guys, go to menti.com.
Menti.com, I'm going to drop the...
This is the site you can access from desktop or mobile. It's a bit easier from mobile if you go from mobile. Go to menti.com and Emmanuel will share the code in chat as well for you to enter the quiz room. And he will also share screen perhaps with the quiz room.
Yeah, sure. Okay, I'm sharing that now.
Okay, good. Okay, you
Okay,
have the
now-
code in the chat now. You can just copy paste the code and go with it into menti.com to enter the quiz room with this code. It's very easy to use and fun, Menti. This is why we're doing it, to check our knowledge and to have a bit of fun.
Okay, can we see my screen also?
Yes. Good. Well, cool. Now we can't see it. It disappeared. Yes, great job, Akpeko. It was a true educational piece today. You got to see a file and folder automation. You also got to see some errors you might encounter. So that was very good value, educational value. Because for sure, when you start your RPA journey and start doing these RoboPaths, you will encounter such errors. So it's good to be prepared and to know that there's no end point. You can just continue and work through.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Christina, I was going to say that it would be really interesting to hear from everyone in this audience and what industry they're currently working, just to see the variety of industries we have thinking about RPA. So just leave a comment in the chat saying what industry you currently work in. That would be great to hear.
Yeah, that would be great. Guys, leave in the chat your industries, like where are you working? And I will also do a post-event form to send you to complete, like to say what industry you are coming from. For example, I'm in growth marketing. I started. Now you can continue. Emmanuel, how is it?
Yeah, please, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute.
Okay, no problem. Though I think we should stop the recording now.
Yes, we can.